Howdy, I'm Justin Wilson with American Irrigation Repair, and I'm here this evening looking at a Hunter ICC controller. This was a very popular controller for Hunter in years past. It has since been discontinued, but there are many of these controllers out on the market in residential, commercial, and some industrial applications. Again, been a very popular controller, and there are many of these out there. The settings of this controller are very simple. There are three main items to be focused on: your start times, your station run times, and your days to water. If you'll get those three things set correctly, the rest of the functions of the controller are extras, and there are some hidden features in addition. But with the start times, the run times, and the water days set correctly, everything, this controller will kind of run as programmed, and so those are the things that we're going to go over with you today. I'll start with the start times. Everything is very simple on this controller. It all runs off this central dial, and in order to change any of the selected items, you're just going to point the dial at the items that you want to change. Of course, the first thing to always check is going to be your current time. To do that on this controller, we're going to use the arrows, and it will scroll us through the different aspects of the current date and time. In order to make changes to any of those, you would just use your plus or your down arrow key as you're on each individual setting. This is all correct. It is about 7:12 in the evening, and it is September the 4th today. So, with our current time set correctly, we're going to move down to our program start times. This is going to be what time that you want the controller to cycle. Now, program start time is not needed for every individual section or zone of the sprinkler system. You only need one start time for all of the stations that will run consecutively. This controller knows that it needs to run them all consecutively, so it only needs to have one start time per day. The only time that we would have more than one start time would be if you had new sod or new seed of something of that nature. So for today's purposes, we're going to make sure that we do have a start time. In this particular clock, we've got it set at 12 a.m., which is correct. And the other start times, we're going to make sure that they're all off. This box has a capability to handle up to 8 start times, but again, as I said before, we're going to make sure 2 through 8 are all indicating that they are off, in which case they are. If you wanted to change this, for example, if you wanted to change it to 1 a.m., all you're going to do is push your plus key until you get up to 1 a.m. There's no enter key or anything of that nature to hit. Once you've changed it to 1 a.m., it's going to stay there. Secondarily will be your station run times. Going through these, you're going to set each of your individual sections for how long that you'd like for it to run. This particular controller has some zones that are not watering on the A program, so we're actually using some other programs on this controller. For today's purposes, I'm going to go through and just give you an idea on how to set one program. So for today's purposes, I'll go through the first 3 zones and we'll discuss how to set those. This is kind of a simple overview on the actual scheduling, so I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail. If you wanted to change the times on the first section, of course, again, we're here on station run times. It's indicating station 1, and it's indicating how long. If you wanted to change that to increase it, you would use your plus key. Again, you can use your minus key or your plus key. They'll adjust accordingly. And then to pan to a different station, we would go, for example, to station 4, and we would again use our plus or our minus key to change how long the station is actually going to run. You'll do that for each station that you want to control. Pan through them with your arrow keys, and then use your plus or your minus to adjust how long they water. Your water days are going to be indicated with a triangle above the actual day that is to water. Currently, Sunday is flashing because that's where our icon is located. So with the arrow keys, I can pan through. For example, here, if I was watering Tuesday and I wanted to also select Thursday, I would move the icon to Thursday, and I would press the plus key. We can see we've added a triangle above Thursday, so now we're going to water Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Again, the flashing is actually an icon. It's not a water day. It's just indicating where your icon is set as you're moving through to change and update the schedule. So as you can see here, we've got water days of Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. We've got our station run time set for approximately 25 minutes. Okay. And then we've got our program start time set at 12 a.m. We move the dial to the run position. It's going to water as scheduled. One additional thing that I'll go over with you real quick on this controller is the manual function. I prefer to use the manual start with the right arrow key. I find it to be easier and easier to pan through the zones. What you'll do is hold down this right arrow key for a few seconds until you see the display change. And when you see the display change, we'll have the first section starting up right now. May be able to hear it in the background. Okay, there's our first section running. So it does take a few seconds. And then we could also pan through them. You can pan through as you're manually operating the system. You can pan through the different zones with each of the arrow keys, and it will move zones. It will change zones forward and backwards. In other words, we could use our reverse key to go back to 1, or use our forward key to go over to station 2. And then, of course, the off position is going to turn everything off. Appreciate you watching this evening. Again, this is Justin Wilson with American Irrigation Repair. We'd love to work with you if you had sprinkler repair work, irrigation installation, sprinkler system, any type of sprinkler system work. We'd be happy to help you. Telephone number 943-6075, and our website is www.fixmyheads.com. That's FIXMYHEADS.com. Give us a holler today if we can help. You can also find our domain, telephone number, and contact information below this video.